You open this door with the key of reason. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of truth, a dimension of freedom, a dimension of joy. You're moving into the land of both the ideal and the real, of the possible and the actual. You've just crossed over into the capitalist corner.
Where reason meets reality, welcome to the capitalist corner.
Welcome to the show, folks, the Capitalist Corner. I'm your host, Michael Liebowitz, on my own today, as I've been completely abandoned by everyone but Persephone, and if I'm really in need of help, I may just bring her on. I'm going to need her to maybe calm down a little bit. She's very excited, wound up, guzzling down energy drinks, one or two at a time. Remember, we're not in any way affiliated with the American Capitalist Party on this show. I should say I'm going to probably abbreviate this episode a little bit today because I have a lot to do, but don't fret, because at 4 o'clock Eastern time today, we will be having a special episode where I debate Liquid Zulu on whether objectivism should be an open system or a closed system. So that should be tons of fun, tons of great content. I've debated him before. He always comes prepared. What else do I got to say? Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe from YouTube to your favorite social media platforms, and even your least favorite. Just get it done. Yes, I went to the dentist yesterday. It turned out that they speculated that probably, I guess, bone sometimes regenerates and some broke off, and it was in there causing some havoc, but evidently it's going to work itself out. Katie Ellis says that she's dealing with B. Moni harassing her. I don't see her post because I've blocked her, and she's blocked me, which is fine by me. I really don't need that wench in my life. Are you allowed to say that? Is that a mean word, Persephone? Wench? Am I allowed to say wench? Oh, Persephone's saying hell yeah, and she's nodding. I should be saying a lot worse, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stoop to Persephone's level of insults that she wants me to. So we do have some questions. Remember, today is Open Question Friday, so you are very much encouraged to bring all of your questions. Kat Sterling said she's commenting on my post from August. Well, she's nuts, so, just let nuts. Michael is going to PC jail for saying wench. Well, I don't know who's going to do the incarcerating. But the questions are, so the first question is from Nicole Hingle, and she wants to know, she says, California passed law that will go in effect 7/1/26 that bans sale of Glock handguns. Thoughts? I think it's stupid. I think it probably runs afoul of the Second Amendment. The court has already ruled that individuals have the right to possess firearms, that it's an individual right. I don't think the Glock is anything special that would obviate that right. I also don't think, just as a fact of pure consequences, that such a ban would have any real effect. I've owned numerous guns in my life. I never bought any of them legally, so I don't know what they hope to accomplish by that. Just more government overreach, more busybodies thinking that they have the solution to everybody's problems and that they should be getting involved. Jenna Kleem asks a question. Is there a difference between moral and ethical? In technical philosophy, yeah, I was told by actually a moral philosopher. I asked her this very question, and she told me that and she's multilingual, and she told me that in English there's no difference. But there are people who would argue that there is a difference. Some people say, well, moral is sort of an abstract theory, whereas ethical has to do with the actual the study of that, or some people will argue that ethical has to do with the practical implementation. For my purposes, I use them as interchangeable. I don't think there's any harm in doing so. Let me get an answer. Let me just ask AI, and we'll see what AI has to say. All right, let's see here. Is there a difference between moral and ethical? See how I can multitask? That got recorded as well, so it's going to comment on my ability to multitask. Moral refers to personal beliefs about right and wrong shaped by individual values, culture, or religion. It's subjective, like your gut feeling about whether lying is okay in a specific situation. Ethical refers to a system of principles or rules guiding behavior, often tied to a specific context like a profession or society. It's more structured. Then it says if I wanted to deeper dive. And my guess is that if you look through this thing, you're going to find the same thing I did, that there's many, many different ideas of what the moral and the ethical to, but it always boils down to what is right and wrong, what is good and bad. That's what I would say. Tucker Marler says, I've noticed that many horror movies portray the world as incomprehensible, which normally would be anti-objective, but because that this is portrayed as horrible, would this be seen as pro-objectivity? This is a really complex question that has to do with psychology and art. I have a personal view on it, but I'm not going to. I'm open to being proven wrong. I think that horror movies are much like roller coasters. I think that they can tap into something that is part of the human psyche, that can be both allow us to be frightened in safe atmospheres, and it's sometimes exhilarating to experience that. So I think that they can be okay to that extent. I do think that there's a danger in maybe identifying with the wrong characters or glorifying the evil, the wicked parts of these things. But by and large, I think that they're harmless fun. But like I said, I am very much open to being, what's the word I'm looking for now? Being convinced. I just saw something in the chat. So my friend Subby Scalora, he says, say hello to Melissa Jones watching. Hello, Melissa Jones. How are you? You don't know this, but about 30 years ago, I asked Subby to hook me up with you, but that never panned out for me. Next thing I knew, I was in prison. Maybe it's your fault. Who knows? No, I'm kidding. Not about what I asked Subby to do, but about your fault going to prison. Nevertheless, hello, and please say hello to your sister for me as well. Let's see what else we got here in the chat before I get to some of these stories. Jim Valiant is adding the very important howdy. Jim Valiant, who told me he was not available today. Huh. What's up with that? Not available. It's interesting. Mark tells me he's not available, and then the next thing I know, there's 50 posts on Twitter from Mark wanting to strangle various communists. Jim tells me he's not available, and yet he's here in the chat. Somebody also mentioned that the format is now different. I don't know how. Somebody needs to tell me that. He's multitasking, Jim. Okay, as long as we understand you're not as good of a multitasker as I am. Eutychus wants to know where my girlfriend is when I need her, or she says when you need her. Maybe Eutychus feels somebody else needs Diana. I don't know. I don't know how much help she'd be to me in this particular instance, although she's wonderful in a lot of other areas. She's not much of a talk show host. Let's, keep it real for a few minutes here. Persephone's making these faces. Persephone, you got to understand. Every time my girlfriend is mentioned, you just see the jealousy rage in Persephone. And you could take my word for this. It's just like she's like, oh, this again? Yes, this again. I'm sorry, Persephone, but I have a girlfriend and you live thousands and thousands of miles away. Plus, you're married. And maybe your husband's a handsome chap. I don't know. Michael looks shorter than that in the chair. He agrees with Mark. I think Subby may have come in here and fiddled with my chair and lowered it a little. But, I digress. So we have a lot to talk about today. And let's get to it. I'm in a war here on X with the anarcho-capitalists that I started just for fun. Let's see. I got to get to here. See, this is what I need like Persephone for I need to send. That's what I need to do. I have to send you the articles. Persephone, if I send you the articles in the morning, would you be able to post them so that I could see them on the screen and not on the screen? I'm thinking horror movies on the screen and not have to look at my phone. Could you do that? You're going to have to speak up. I can't hear you. Okay. Who's the naughty troll? That was actually, if I was going to be a porn actor, that was going to be my name. Naughty troll. What do you think? It's like George Costanza was going to be Buck Naked and Naughty Troll, starring in the wayward talk show host. Now that's something. That could work out. Although we kind of have decided that porn is immoral, I guess. I don't know. Persephone still watches it while she's doing this. Megan says, if I need a co-host next week and I think she'd be helpful, she can join me. Megan, you can always be helpful on the show, and I will most likely take you up on that. You're very, very bright. Plus, some of the men in the audience, that you're very attractive, and that's what they tune in for. Listen, I don't write the rules of society. That's just the way things are. Men like beautiful women, and I suppose women like handsome men as well. If the way Persephone looks at me is any indication, then I'm right about this. Okay, so I'm scrolling through X this morning, and I found so many disturbing things here. Megan says, thanks with a question mark. Yes, Megan, it's absolutely a compliment. You're smart, you're pretty, and I would love to have you on the show to help out. Nothing bad there at all. Persephone, you don't have to get jealous. You're pretty as well. Okay. So the first thing I'm just going to refer to a few of these things. This, to me, I don't know how these people can look themselves in the mirror. Stephen Miller says, let me just say, Mr. President, he's sitting a few people down from Trump, and he says, let me just say, Mr. President, that this country was going to die without you. This country was going to actually die without you. You alone saved it. Like, how do you live with yourself? Like, God. Then we get this from Lara Trump. Do I love the idea of Donald Trump on a bill? Hell yeah, absolutely. He deserves it. This is the greatest president probably of all time. Let's get him on some sort of currency. May we make a $25 bill. Oh, my Lord. Next, from Pete Hegseth, a picture of Donald Trump sitting alone in the White House, captioned, "Man in the Arena." Oh, this Pete Hegseth, by the way, is the one lecturing our troops on masculinity. Meanwhile, he's ogling a fat orange guy sitting alone in a suit. Come on. Let's see what else we got here. All right, I think I got one more. I just got to scroll down. No, so those were the few things. What do you guys think about people? Forget he's the president, just for a second, right? What would you think if you're a woman? Let me ask you this. You're a woman and you see that your significant other is fawning over another man in that way. What do you think? Like, is that attractive, or do you think, wow, this is disgusting? This is absolutely gross. Like, how would you respect your husband? And men, if you saw your wives acting this way, like they're fawning over this jackass. I mean, what are you going to say? Now, let's add into the equation that this is the president of the United States and that he likes to have people fawning over him. What do you think about a guy, women out there first? What do you think about a man who needs that type of ass kissing, that needs people to kiss up to him, that's so insecure that he just has to have that, has to have people fawning all over him? And he laps it up, knowing, by the way, that it's probably false, that these people probably don't believe it. I mean, they've got to just be making it up because they know he wants it. It reminds me of, you look at Kim Jong, whatever it is now, not Il, it's Kim Jong-un. And he's so upset that all the people are clapping, knowing they're clapping because they're afraid of him. But he loves it nonetheless. So what do you think about a guy like that? Like Donald Trump or like Kim Jong-un? Persephone wants to know if I think he believes the praise. I don't know, right? He may not. And like, I always come back to prison examples because that's where I lived most of my life. So in prison, you have this situation where lieutenants used to be correctional officers. Wardens used to be lieutenants. So did captains. You go up the chain, right? Now, when a lieutenant tours the jail, the guy who's working the main control knows the lieutenant's touring. That person then notifies all the COs and all the blocks and says, get your shit together, the lieutenant's touring. So the people then do that. The lieutenant, in turn, when he tours, used to be a CO. He knows that call takes place. He knows they're all warned. And yet he just goes and he tours as if he's really inspecting something. Similar with the captains, similar with the wardens. They're all in on this ridiculous ruse. Similarly, when we're having outside visitors, they go through this dog and pony show where they have us clean up the whole jail and waxing and painting and everything else. The person coming knows that's happening, but goes for it anyway. So I don't know if Trump knows it. I do know that human beings have the potential for this type of thing because I've seen it. But if Trump doesn't understand that it's fake, then he's really dumb. And if he does understand that it's fake, he's really ridiculous. In either case, it's not enough. Not enough. What the hell does that even mean? Not enough. In either case, it's a problem, is what I should have said. You wear a sports jersey with a guy's name on it, Race, and I think it's understood that you're limiting your praise to a specific sphere of what you like. In a sports team, it's not the type of fawning praise for an individual like what we see with the Trumpster. Let me check these private chats here. Persephone, I can't talk about that. Are you sick? Why would you put this in the private chat for me to discuss? Is this the type of thing that you want to hear about? Persephone, for shame. Jim Valiant says, hey, the stripper really likes me. Yes, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. That's what it's about. Years ago, should I tell this story? What the hell? Years ago when I was a teenager, we used to have fake IDs and we would go to strip clubs. So I'm sitting with my friend and he just keeps doling out the money to the stripper. So he's doling out the money to her. Of course, she's going to keep coming over to him, right? I mean, that's obvious. People that know about strip clubs knows that's what happens. So now he runs out of money, my friend. And what happens? The stripper leaves. My friend gets angry and says to me, what the hell? She comes over here, takes all my money, and now she's shaking her ass for someone else. And he was indignant. Like, really, Jim, you were spot on with this. Maybe my story was too much info. I don't know. I'll tell you what, my story wasn't as bad as what Persephone wanted me to talk about. I'm always telling stories that would get people canceled. What? How does that? Why would that get something canceled? All these dudes that have been in strip clubs, they're going to tell me that they were young, they didn't go to strip clubs. They're lying. They're lying. I don't condone strip clubs. I think they should be legal. I think they're ridiculous. The dirty old men that go in there, I think, are disgusting. But the idea that there's all these men out there who, when they were young, didn't go to strip clubs and didn't look at porn, you're lying. I know you did. And if you didn't, it's because no one would invite you. You just weren't popular. I'm sorry to break it to you. Your people didn't like you. Because if you had friends, they would have taken you. That's the way it goes. What? No, I can't. Should I? What the hell? Let's go to the private chat. And I'm going to share what Persephone wants me to talk about. From Randy, G1975. He says, who needs porn when our leaders gather at the fellatio table to worship Trump and pat each other on the back for over an hour? Disgusting. It is disgusting, but why would my producer want me to talk like that on the air? She's supposed to be saying, Michael, dial it back. You don't want to be discussing porn. You don't want to be discussing your, ventures into the various strip clubs. Now she's fanning herself off. I don't know. I'm not in a tank top, so I really can't comment on that. All right. So Bernie Sanders, remember him? This crazy old guy who is a socialist? Come on, that's mild. That's hilarious. You started gothic whores for the capitalist movement. The guy's right. All right, it was mild. I blew it out of proportion. Shoot me. I was trying to make a point. I was being funny with my producer, and now you're all scolding me for it? Come on. Don't make me turn on you people, because I will, and it won't be pretty. I'm just saying. All right, so Alex Thompson interviewed Senator Bernie Sanders, and Senator Bernie Sanders thinks the government should break up OpenAI. Of course he does. He thinks that it's approaching monopoly, blah, 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 blah. It's dangerous, and every other stupid thing that this tired old socialist has to say. This is the problem with the socialists of all stripes. And while Sanders is the avowed socialist, there's many of them on both sides of the aisle. The people who think that they have the right to control businesses, to break up companies because they're too big, yet they want to give ever more power to the government and they don't see that as a problem. These people are the problem, and we need to utterly defeat these people intellectually. And it's not hard. I mean, really, it's not. I mean, it's not like you're talking nuclear physics or quantum mechanics. We're talking about dumb socialists whose theory has been tried in practice and failed over and over and over and over again. Plus, we have the works of the great von Mises to demonstrate how socialist calculation or economic calculation in a socialist society is impossible. We also have the great Ayn Rand to demonstrate the immorality of socialism. Simple. There's no prices in socialism. There's no way to know what's in demand and what isn't. People don't know what to produce. And the immorality of it is it relies on the initiation of force against people, evil as hell. So we know that. Let's see. Luddites, objectivists. So Rational Frontier, Man Sharma, is obsessed with porn. I actually interviewed him this morning. We had a good debate. I'm hoping it'll be out on Sunday or Monday. We debated anarcho-capitalism. I won, of course. I mean, we don't have to question that. But he's great. He's young. He's very, very bright. I hope to have him on this show as well. And he's broadcasts from India, a young Indian gentleman, very big student of objectivism. But this is actually what he says. On a serious note, an honest discussion of porn might be a good idea. How do you include both those in the same sentence? On a serious note, we need to discuss naked women and men having sex on camera. This is vital. We have to discuss this. We've got to hash this out. And I'll bet you, Rational Frontier, you're going to be dedicating and volunteering yourself to do all the research, right? Is that how this is going to pan out? Are you going to do the research so that you can watch the porn and tell us all what it's like? AI should break up idiots in the Senate. True. So speaking of porn, another funny story, another digression on my part. I really can't stay focused. But in Ted Cruz's book, he talks about how they were doing a case on porn. And he was not on the Supreme Court. He was a clerk to Rehnquist. So they had to actually look at the porn, to make a judgment on it. So it's Ted Cruz, William Rehnquist, and Sandra Day O'Connor, the female judge, who, by the way, used to date William Rehnquist. So it's the three of them, and they're looking at porn, and all of a sudden Sandra Day O'Connor says, "Oh my." Like, how could you keep a straight face in that set of circumstances? I know I couldn't. I couldn't do it. But, just be grateful it wasn't Sandra Day O'Connor actually doing the porn. Nobody needs that. Okay. My phone just became unplugged. Hey, you don't need to know that. Okay. What else we got here? Oh, okay. So there's this vocal Trump supporter. What the hell is his name? John Lonsdale. He, I don't know who this guy is. Oh, he's a Texas-based venture capitalist and Palantir co-founder. He's not happy with Trump over these pardons. Trump, he pardoned a crypto billionaire named Changpeng Zhao, who had been convicted of violating anti-money laundering laws and sentenced to 4 years in prison. So Trump pardons this guy. And this guy here says, "I love President Trump." Oh, my God. Like, dude, maybe his wife has his balls. He should go get them. But anyways, he then says this. He says, "If I'm calling balls, nice, and strikes, these are hit by pitches. POTUS has been terribly advised on this. It makes it look like massive fraud is happening around him in this area." Duh. This isn't the first time. The guy pardoned everybody from January 6th. He pardons his pals. He's now pardoning this guy. He pardoned, did he pardon Steve Bannon? I think so. The other guy there, whatever the hell his name, the guy that uses the fake name to write on economics and then cites himself. I can't remember, Peter Navarro. Yeah, I think that it's time to maybe modify or amend rather the Constitution, and do so to get rid of this pardon power. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's only subject to abuse. It's basically unrestricted, I think, except for treason and impeachments. Yeah, it's got to go. We got to get rid of this. What do you guys think? Should we keep the pardon power or should we get rid of it? What do you think? Rational Frontier 2609 says liked. I don't know if he means he likes the show or likes the idea that he's going to be the one watching the porn. He's going to have to clarify for me. All right, let's see here. I hate when that happens. All right. No, same story. Don't want to see that. This is from the Morning Dispatch. During a press conference at the White House on Thursday, Trump told reporters that he would not seek congressional approval for his administration's strikes on suspected drug smuggling boats through a declaration of war. He says, "I think we're going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country." Okay. He then adds, "They're going to be like dead." How does someone talk like that? This guy speaks like a third grader. I caught myself. You see that? But so the president of the United States is telling the country that he does not care about the United States Constitution. He doesn't respect it. I don't know. What do you think? Just keep letting him do it, right? Hell with it. The other side's worse, right? What about the Democrats? They suck. Yeah, Trump. No, screw that. We need to get back to somebody arguing for the Constitution. Republicans used to do it, but they don't anymore because now they're in bed with the orange clown. Come on. Article 1, Section 8, only Congress can declare war. We're not being invaded. We're not under attack. If people are voluntarily consuming drugs, that's their freaking business. It's not the orange idiots. It's certainly not Stephen Miller or anybody else. Rational Frontier says, Miachel. My name is not Miachel. But he says, if you call the Constitutional Convention in today's day and age, you'll probably end up with, I don't know, he said something and now it's disappeared because more people are intent here. You'd end up with most, if not all, the best parts of the Constitution gone. You're right. I don't disagree. And see, that's the key. And that's where the arguments need to take place, folks. I'm not saying we need to stop arguing about politics, but I will say this. I had an argument today, not an argument, friendly banter online. And someone's telling me how a limited government is utopia. It's not possible. This person, on the other hand, is advocating anarchy, which claims it's not utopia. Whatever. I'm not going to address that. But my point here is that in order for any system to take place, you have to have cultural change. We have to have deep changes in the culture so that people will vote differently. Because as long as the culture thinks that somebody should be telling businesses what to do or telling people what people should put in their bodies, we're going to continue to get that. So we need to really backtrack, start with epistemology, move through to ethics, get people to take personal responsibilities for their lives and understand what a proper government consists of, what a proper system consists of, to appreciate capitalism. Let's see. We've got some comments here. I don't know what that means. I wonder what the red lie. I don't know. Anarchy is how you get unlimited government. It's how you get chaos, I would say. Sure. Okay, you've just got the Roman triumvirate instead of person power. Huh? All right, Megan, I'm sorry, but I'm not understanding your comments. I don't know what it's in reference to because I just look now. I'm supposed to look right away, but I love listening to the sound of my voice for one. And on top of that, I'm reading the comments on the right. At some point, I guess I got to look at what Persephone's doing. She's doing such a wonderful job with the posting and the flirting. Let me tell you, to have a beautiful woman flirting with me while I'm on the air helps immensely. She's nodding now. How vain. How vain. She's there going, yep. All right, Persephone, that's great. The ears are cute. Diana's watching. She's going to murder me later. It's all going to be good. CPT Chandler's here. He says he's going to flirt with me. Chandler, you already did. We spent some time together. Remember, I'm not trying to put our business out there, but when I took my shirt off, you did come running. I'm just saying. That is the wife of me, Lee, and her husband. You cannot have her. I don't know who Karaki Chan is. I don't even know who she's talking about. Jim Valiant says first century BC in Rome proved an unstable condition that led to the Caesars. Are you talking about Pompey, Cicero, and Julius, Jim? I think you are. But tell me if I'm correct. Was that the triumvirate? I think so. Diana, please don't forgive Mike. Forgiveness is a sin. Wow, nice. You're telling my girlfriend to get rid of me just because I flirt with everything that moves. Nice. What the hell am I in prison again here? Do you understand what it's like to spend 25 years in prison completely away from women? Do you understand what that's like? So yes, I am flirting and I'm proud of it. Not with just any women. I lied. I'm exaggerating. I mean, just the pretty ones. God, I shouldn't say that because then anyone I don't flirt with now, they're going to think that I don't find them pretty. Okay. The only women I flirt with are the pretty ones. But just because I don't flirt with you doesn't mean you're not pretty. And I've noticed lately that even men are flirting with me. Chandler, for instance, Jim Valiant, the guys that I'm there, they're flirting with me. I mean, I'm flattered, the thing that Chandler, I think, doesn't understand. I'm in the back seat. I know when the driver's looking in the rear view mirror at me, right? So he's like this. That's what Chandler was doing. Mark doesn't flirt with me, Greg, because Mark just says I'm his companion. Who is this? What is the pen name? Karaki Chan. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Who's HLP? He says with these new cars, he barely has to drive, Chandler. Chandler is a fun dude to hang out with, by the way. I can't wait. Next time I go to San Diego, I'm definitely going to hit him up. I don't know if it's weird, but he told me I could stay with him. Jim says I dramatically misread him and calls me Bud. Come on. Triumvirate instead of pardon power, Megan says. Maybe they do have in the States, for instance, in Connecticut at least, they have a pardon board. So, maybe that would be the case. Chandler says he has a guest room. Yeah, and I'm sure there's no hidden cameras. I'm not falling for that one again. All right, let's see what else we got. Persephone's over here posting. Rational Frontier says he prefers manual to automatic. I wonder if he's referring to the porn again. I'm not really sure. All right, we got that. Let's get rid of this. All right. I've gone through all the stories. So now it's on you people. Karaki Chan is Kat Sterling. Did you just rat her out? Okay, Persephone told me who you are, Kat. But how do you pronounce it? You got to tell me how to pronounce this. I need pronunciation guidelines. Nothing. Who has a copy of the tape with Michael made with the hidden camera? Really? Greg? Et tu, Brutai? You're looking for this tape? All right. Gulp. Prefer manual. I don't know. Michael trying to be funny is funny. I don't know if that's an insult. Kira Felix says she told me herself, read the chat. It's kind of hard when people keep insulting me saying that I'm trying to be funny. Like, that's not right. Akira Felix, K21. It's her fanfic pen name since she was 15 years old. All right, so let's talk a little bit. What can we talk about? We want to talk about something else? Give me a topic. Pick a topic. Pick a topic. Pick a topic, and I'll talk about it. I know what I'm going to do. Get ready. Surprise, Persephone.
I'm so glad that I wasn't busy screaming, look at the private chat when you did that, because I was before.
You were screaming?
Yeah, Nicole Hingle sent a message. She wants to talk about the beef from Argentina.
I don't know anything about it, so I don't know. I haven't read the story. I go through these stories in the morning, and I read. If somebody would help and send me some stories, I can't do that. You know why? I almost opened myself up to severe criticism because Nicole is constantly tagging me in posts on Twitter, and I don't read them all the time, so I got to be careful.
And Nicole submits a lot of questions.
Whose side are you on, woman?
Not yours. I'm on the chat side.
Oh, that's rude. Eutychus wants Persephone to marry him or her. I don't know.
I am unfortunately already married. No, I'm fortunately already married.
Well, yeah. We got that. She got caught. Did you hear that, folks? Everybody right here, you've heard it on the show live. Breaking news. Persephone is unhappily and unfortunately married.
Happily married.
Would much rather
Happily
be with
married.
Eutychus, me, who we don't even know who that is. He says he's polycule. I don't know what that is. I don't hate you, Nicole.
I do.
You hate Nicole?
No, I know what a polycule is.
I said I don't hate Nicole. You said I do.
No.
It's getting really
Yes.
this is getting kind of rough. Who's Eutychus, Captain Chandler? Rat him out. Clip that. We're gonna clip that. You've been accused of being Peggy Bundy from South Africa. You know, I always thought Peggy Bundy was hot. What is polycule? What is that?
Polyamory. So when you have multiple partners.
How'd you know what that is?
What do you mean? I spend time on the internet. I know
It
things.
seems like maybe you spent some time elsewhere.
I've been married for 10 years.
But if you're polycule, what difference does that make?
No.
Oh,
no.
Eutychus is Ionis. Ionis, you rock. Sebastian Scalora wants me to talk about the No Kings people and how they were all up in the cops' faces, but they would never do that if they were just out and about by themselves. I don't want to talk about that. Subby, I'm sorry. I love Subby. Subby's been so wonderful to me, but the problem is he comes up with these stories, and it's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know about this. That doesn't interest me much, you know? Now, we do have this representative from South Windsor. I think his name is Saeed Anwar, who puts a post out there. I might have talked about this yesterday. I was reading something, but anyway, he was talking about how he wishes the cholesterol would do its job and kill somebody, kill Donald Trump, basically, is what he was implying. And, you know, that was a terrible thing. But this was a good quote that I want to get to. Your life belongs to yourself. I wish everybody would understand that. They could just read Ayn Rand. Simple solution. That is from Dennis. No clue how to pronounce that. I'm going to give it a shot. Don't sue me, sue Persephone. Dennis Mijatovic. Did I pronounce that right, you think, Persephone?
I don't think so. Mijatovic?
Lucifer wants me to discuss Bimoni Das. I don't want to do that. Like, that was like, I've had some bad debates where people were just dumb in my life. That was like, she's not an ugly woman. And let me just tell you, that might have been the first pretty girl that I didn't want to flirt with because she was too dumb to flirt with. Am I allowed to say how dumb she is?
You are, because she is dumb and she's awful. And if you don't want to slander her, I will.
Well, it's not slander if it's true. You got to get your terms right. This woman is a menace. She's a psycho. Really, she's a psycho. She comes on my show. I gave her the opportunity to have a nice debate with me. She claimed she wanted it. She laughed at me, the idea of this ex-con debating her. I had her on the show. It was utterly embarrassing for her. Because it was embarrassing, I decided not even to post it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do I say?
You don't. You don't.
Okay.
You don't say anything. Don't address it.
Okay. So, wow, I'm totally lost now. Anyway, so she said I wouldn't be able to debate her. I was so nice and I didn't want to post it, but then she started to harass me. And when she harassed me, I decided that I would actually post the video, and it wasn't, it wasn't
embarrassing.
good. It was embarrassing for her. Much like Rational Frontier, you know, wanting to be the porn arbiter or whatever. It's just, you don't do stuff like that. But seriously, let me be serious, because there are a lot of serious things going on here. I wrote on social media this morning that epistemology is the key to unlocking the door to self-improvement. Epistemology deals with how we acquire knowledge. In the objectivist epistemology, reason, and in reality, reason is our means of gaining knowledge. It's our means of gaining understanding. It's our means of survival. And reason works by certain rules, the rules of logic. Logic, as Ayn Rand defined, is the non-contradictory identification. as the art of non-contradictory identification. If people would start with a commitment to logic, just start there. Commitment to logic. Because if you have a commitment to logic, a commitment to reason, it entails a commitment to honesty. It means following, as Socrates said, the argument wherever it leads. If even half the people would just commit to that, the world would be a much better place. Greg Lewis says the key is the volitional consciousness. I agree. It's the ability to direct our minds, the ability to evade, to focus, to engage in the process of reasoning. Great point, Greg Lewis. Great point. We do have that ability. We have the ability to reflect on our own thought processes and see if we're engaging in rational thought. We have the ability to examine our own motivations and see what's driving us, why we're doing something. Are we rationalizing? Are we trying to impress other people, or are we doing what we think? Wow, that's interesting. Okay, I just got a message from somebody that says he was a dick to me once and he's happy I didn't unfollow him. And I remember exactly when he was a dick because I've got a memory like you would not believe. But anyways, so yeah, if we would just commit to honesty, to logic, to focusing our minds, to discovering truth from false, right from wrong, how much better would the world be? And I really think that that's where the battle is to be fought and won, is in epistemology. Now, Jesus Christ. Rational Frontier is now pointing out a muscle man to me. You got to stop, dude. You got to stop. I love you, brother. You're great. I love talking to you today, but you're telling me I need to talk about porn and look at shirtless men flexing. Like this, that's not my jam. Yeah, you're Lucifer Lee. That's why I called you Lucifer's Lee. But the problem is so I one time had a prominent reporter, I don't know prominent, but a local reporter, a columnist, friend of mine, and I was talking to him, and he told, well, no, matter of fact, I was in prison. I wasn't talking to him. He gave me the advice through Subby, and he says, you have to understand when you write that there's the timeless and the timely, right? And the timeless means it's an important story, but it can be told anytime. It's always going to matter, whereas the timely is applicable only right now. And when I think about that, I think of it in terms of epistemology and then politics, right? In order to get a proper politics, we need to fix our epistemology and our ethics. When I say we, I'm just referring to the people that live in this country, right? That's what I mean. Just to clarify, people live in this country, by and large, need to fix their epistemology and then fix their ethics. The problem is, if you don't address the politics and you only address that stuff, who knows by how much damage is going to be done politically in the meantime. So while I think that the fundamental fight is in epistemology and then ethics, I know that the in-your-face fight is in politics, and it's not an easy balance to strike. Believe me, I would much rather focus all my attention on epistemology, ethics, self-improvement, that sort of thing, the self-made soul, the intersection between philosophy and psychology. I would love to focus on that stuff. The problem is, while we're focusing on that stuff, we lose free speech, we lose what property rights we have less, the Constitution gets further flushed down the toilet, and the bad guys win. And by the time we catch up, we're just outnumbered, outgunned, outmanned. So we need to focus, learn to focus, to balance, that sort of thing. Lucifer says she's very sick. Lucifer Leah, and her brain isn't working. She said something awful earlier. To fight for your values in a world such as ours, you must regard yourself as a psychotherapist of an entire culture. Excellent. Excellent. I love that. I love it to an extent, but not if taken literally. So Ayn Rand wrote a great essay. Tucker Marler, by the way, I am going to get back to you on the Max Stirner stuff. I forgot, and I've got a ton to do, and I got to read the stuff, and then I'll come on your show. We'll talk about it. I believe it was you who wanted to discuss the Tucker Marler. No. Were you the one, Tucker Marler? Tell me in the chat here. Did you want to discuss the Max Stirner stuff or the Hans Hermann Hoppe stuff? Let me know. I'm actually Akira Felix, and she wanted to be a smart fella. I'm in the process of organizing to interview Jonathan Honig on that very book. So I will be reading it because whenever I interview someone on a book, I try to read it. I usually do, but I can't say I always do because sometimes I don't have time. But whenever I have time, I get it done. But anyways, Our Cultural Value Deprivation by Ayn Rand. She talked about how our culture is so lacking in legitimate values to pursue that in order to make it to be in order to make it in our society, in order to be moral, one has to be a spiritual giant. And I mentioned that to my friend Brent. We were cellmates, and Brent says, well, the solution. You become a spiritual giant. Absolutely. Akira Felix, I know it was a joke. I was breaking your balls. Take a joke in response. Everybody's got to lighten up around here. You people are way too serious.
There's a good comment from Gary, who says, so many people call Trump a narcissist, but I don't see that. I see an insecure, needy, desperate for recognition, naked second-hander who makes Keating look like Rourke. Am I the only one?
Gary, you are right. May I suggest you look up narcissistic paradox? Matter of fact, Persephone, can you look up narcissistic paradox and post it up here, please? That actually would be great. You earn your money instead of just sitting around looking pretty. All right, let me see. There was something else. Do I have a middle name? I do so somebody else contacted me about Max Stirner. Now I got to figure out who the hell that was. So Kat Sterling asked me, do I have a middle name? I do. My middle name is William, after my father. So Michael William Liebowitz. But you could just call me sexy, and that'll be fine. I mean, that's what I'm usually go by. I answer to it. It happens like this, quick. The narcissist. This is from Persephone. Akira says, sometimes I get angry, and when he thought I was just breaking. Yeah, it's a little bipolar thing going on, throwing a hint of obsessive compulsive disorder, and I have anxiety. So, there's that. You expecting my middle name to be Linda? Well, you can call me Linda if you want to. So Persephone posted, the narcissistic paradox refers to the contradictory behaviors and needs seen in narcissism, such as craving admiration while destroying relationships that could provide it, or appearing confident and superior while having a fragile, insecure sense of self. Gary Menard, I hope that helps. I hope that helps, because that's what I am here for, to help at all times. I should bill her for that tidbit of information. Because William. Nice. But yeah, so just some recommendations. Let me throw them out there. I would read Ayn Rand's Introduction to Objectivist Epistemology. I would read her Virtuous Selfishness, and I would read Nathaniel Brandon's The Psychology of Self-Esteem. I think those 3 books would help. Read them all. That'll be great.
You should also go to thecapitalistcorner.org and see all of the book recommendations.
Yes, tell them, Persephone, that's what you're here for. Mark and I are idiots. We forget this. Tell them, promote everything. Go ahead. You could go. You promote.
The Capitalist Corner has a wonderful website, and on that website you will find amazing merch, such as this beautiful mug, which says Codswallop, absolute Codswallop. We also have Check Your Premises mugs. We have the Ball Busting Show t-shirts, hats. We have a great library of book recommendations with most of the books that Mike and Mark have spoken about over the last couple of months. And we have a great selection of blogs. Go forth.
Who writes the blogs, Persephone?
I have no idea. They're just
you
there.
Do. You do know. Persephone, no modesty. We're egoists. You promote yourself.
I write the blogs with some help from Mark, because Mark will occasionally send me 19 texts in a row.
And what am I, chopped liver? I don't help?
You do very good reading. Actually, you helped me with the last one, which I haven't edited. I need to.
Also
you haven't. You
also
haven't ever sent me 19 texts in a row.
No, because
Gaza.
I'm not going to do that. Come on, it's just whatever. So listen, but you haven't sent me questions lately that come from the audience.
No, we haven't had any questions from the Patreon. So everybody who hasn't yet signed up to the Patreon, I encourage you to go and do that. The Capitalist Corner Patreon, not Mark's Patreon.
Mark's?
Yes, Mark has his own Patreon under Mark Pellegrino, where
But
Self-Made
we have
Soul
the
is.
Capitalist
But then,
Corner Patreon, and we have the Capitalist Corner website.
yes, we do. And amazing stuff happens on the Capitalist Corner Patreon. We have extended Q&As. You can do a one-on-one. The one-on-one calls that we did last month were really fun. The group calls are really fun. And occasionally there are extra discussions, like the one that happened 2 weeks ago about whether it's right to ban political parties, which was
We had a
very
debate.
interesting.
We had a
Yes.
debate. Who won that debate, Persephone? Just curious. What's your thoughts?
You. I'm sorry. I don't think it's possible to ban a political party.
I absolutely love Mark Pellegrino, and it's nice that he's not here because then I can say what I want and I don't have to worry about getting beaten up.
He's
I
on
did
a
watch
plane.
Guardians from the Galaxy. It was a decent movie. It was not wonderful. Just real quick, I'm just here to let everyone know so no one gets excited. I'm not taking my top off in the special chats that occur on the Patreon. That's not happening. All right. Unless we jack up the pay, then, we might be able to negotiate something. I don't know. Ask Rational Frontier. He's my porn guy. He makes all the decisions.
I'm pretty sure in the one-on-ones you could be convinced to take your shirt off. Mike, have you seen Paddington yet?
I have
Lee needs to
not.
know.
I have not. Does Paddington take his top off? There was a picture of me floating around the internet with my top off
Yes.
with Chandler.
There's also a picture of you next to Paddington Bear, which Lee made, which is great.
I haven't seen that yet.
Naughty, naughty.
Naughty, naughty. All right, look. I'm going to tell you the truth. I got a lot to do. I got to prepare. I got to drive. I got to shower. I got to prepare for this debate later. So I'm going to wrap this up a little bit early. 51 minutes, 27 seconds, folks. You guys have gotten your, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Money's worth?
They didn't pay anything. You've gotten a good time. Maybe that's not good when we're talking about porn. Okay, it's been a good episode. It's Friday, so I kept it a little light. I try to do that. I hope you still like the show. Let me think of the capitalist thought of the day. The capitalist thought of the day is going to be this. In order to ever establish capitalism, we need to establish a proper culture. In order to establish a proper culture, we need a proper ethic. And in order to establish a proper ethic, we need a proper epistemology. Focus on what we think, how we think, learn to train ourselves to think rationally, always be honest, always seeking the truth, always behaving ethically. We can do it. We can build this world. We can make it a better place. As Leonard Peikoff said, and I may misquote, but I hope not, but he said, to change the world is the easiest thing to do. All you have to do is think. That is very true. Please go to the YouTube site, comment on YouTube, share from YouTube. The question is going to be, would you like to see more foreigners coming on the show as guests? Somebody told me the other day I should have foreigners on. So I'm curious if you want to see more foreigners come on the show. Also, remember, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. 4 p.m. Eastern Time today, I am going to be debating the young man who goes by the name Liquid Zulu. He is going to take up the proposition that objectivism is an open system. It's going to be great. Please tune into that. And other than that, we're going to see you Monday. I'm going to see you later today. See, I'm always screwing up. What was I going to say now? Oh,
And tomorrow for Self-Made Soul.
Tomorrow we got the Self-Made Soul going on. We may even be doing some rational capitalist corner content over the weekend. I got to wait till Persephone finally figures that out. She's taking her sweet time. Mark, you can't get in touch with. I'm the only one that seems to know what he's doing. All right. I am going to see everybody on Monday. I absolutely love you all. Please tune. I'm going to see you today at 4. Tune in today at 4. And then I'll see you again on Monday. Until 4, check your premises. Tune in. Peace.